Let's freaking go. Arkansas, Texas, young guns that are watching this right now. If you are under the age of 40, I want you to come in a little bit tighter here. This game does not mean as much to you as it does my old viewers from the Southwest Conference. Let's freaking go. I am excited to hopefully see Arkansas pull off the upset, because in college football, I might not root for Arkansas. I might not root for Tennessee. I might not even root for my LSU Tigers. I'm kidding. I always root for them. But the one thing, if there is one thing that I root for from a neutral vantage point, it's chaos. Chaos. And an Arkansas upset over Texas would create straight chaos. And that's what I need in my life. Let's go. But I am married. Kidding. My wife keeps my life in order. But it is the Arkansas live stream every Monday at 5 p.m. Central. We will go for about 30 minutes. I do get to call another college basketball game on the YouTube, so make sure you check out South Arkansas Community College. That game will tip off at 6:30. So this is where I want to start. The big news is Taylon Green will be available for the game. Jaquindon Jackson, if he had one competitive bone in his body, which he's got a ton of them, if it is potential for him to go, or if it's probable for him to go, he's going to play this game for versus his former team, where he was initially a quarterback. He was a quarterback recruit coming out of Duncanville High School. This is a chance for him to play against his former team before he transferred to Utah, and obviously he is now here with the Razorbacks. So I feel pretty good that Jaquindon Jackson is going to play. I hope he plays, because I like seeing this revenge storyline, if you will. But the big discussion has been Sam Pittman. You know, I was on a phone call earlier today with someone who really is in the know with Arkansas athletics, and guess what? He doesn't really know what the future holds for Arkansas. And I understand the biggest story for the next couple of weeks is if Sam Pittman will be retained as coach. I will say this, amongst all the SEC teams, you can make a strong case that Arkansas has probably the most fluctuation in terms of who their coach of the future is going to be. So what I'll do is I'll post all the SEC schools on the screen. And as you can see, every single one of these teams has an idea who their coach is going to be. Maybe Hugh Freeze is going to get fired. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. Florida already said that they are returning with Billy Napier next season. So the truth remains the same, that the guy that will be leading every other team in the SEC, those teams know who that person is. I don't think Oklahoma is firing Brent Venables. I don't. So we'll see. I don't think Kentucky has the gonads to pull it versus Mark Stoops. So there's all this speculation like we did last Monday, Sam Pittman retiring. There was a few Twitter reporters that shared that report. And then you had On3's big reporter say, well, not so fast. There is more confidence that Sam Pittman could return next season. And like with Billy Napier at Florida, the money that you would save from the buyout, you can actually pay towards building a national championship roster. I think one thing that is bigger than anything that happened with Arkansas over the past couple of weeks is that Ole Miss victory versus Georgia. I do think that was a big W for the college football fans of smaller schools, because Ole Miss to me has been the best team in the SEC, and they had only had 2 games that they had lost where they trailed for a combined 3 minutes, and those games are fluky. The Kentucky game was fluky, and the LSU game, as we saw this past weekend, was in particular fluky, and it actually really was a fluky win for LSU. So the truth is Ole Miss has gotten return on investment with their players. And one thing that is always going to be a discussion, Was it true that Arkansas almost got Lane Kiffin over Sam Pittman? I just think that's besides the point. I always think Lane Kiffin was going to go to Ole Miss, and he used Arkansas to get more money. But many are starting to think, no, Arkansas didn't want to pay the money for Lane Kiffin. I will tell you this. Let's just say Ole Miss, for instance, spent in total $10 million in the transfer portal. Let's just say they spent $10 million. Okay, once again, I don't know the number that they actually did spend, but let's just say it was $10 million. Y'all, they've already gotten that money back. The fact that Ole Miss beat Georgia this weekend, and the only reason they won this game is because they went out there and got those dudes. The difference is plentyfold. Because when you beat Georgia, who has been by far the best team in college football over the past 5 years, outside of maybe Alabama, you have a lot of people that are willing to pay more for season tickets. You have a lot of more people saying, well, maybe we should pull together NIL money because we are doing something that no one ever thought could happen at Ole Miss football. Y'all, it's worth it. It's worth it. So if you're an Arkansas fan, that result gives you hope. And I know a lot of you have already turned the page to basketball season. And no, I will not be breaking down Coach Cal's downfall to Baylor over the weekend. I think it's just still a little too early to be talking anything basketball, especially if you're playing these very competitive non-conference out-of-state games. I'm not too worried about any of that. I'm not worried about the end of the TCU result, or I'm not worried about beating Kansas at home without Hunter Dickinson for the Jayhawks. So I'm really freaking excited for these final couple of weeks for Arkansas football. I might be the only one. I might be the only Arkansas YouTuber out there that is more looking forward to the actual football than the basketball results over the next couple of weeks. But if I were to guess if Sam Pittman is going to be the coach next season, I would honestly put it at a 60-40 chance that he will not be. But that's just pure speculation on my part. Pure speculation. Okay? Let's go to Lawson Edders. We say hi to David Lee, my longtime friend. What's up? South Arkansas stand up. Lawson says, Singleton proved to me against Ole Miss that he should be the starter. All I needed to see from him was he could run the ball, and he did last week. He had like a 70-something yard touchdown run. Okay. Y'all, please, don't take what happened in mop-up duty of a 63-28 game as anything. Okay? Now, here's what I would tell you. I need everybody to come in close. I would definitely start Malachi Singleton versus Louisiana Tech. I would definitely do it. Now, I understand that is tricky because, well, and my jacket broke before my live stream. I have no idea how that even happened. But I understand. I understand wanting to see Malachi Singleton start. I think at this point, what I would do if I'm Sam Pittman is start Taylor Green versus Texas, but quickly say, hey, we are giving Malachi Singleton a start versus Louisiana Tech. I think he should start versus Louisiana Tech regardless of what actually happens in this game this weekend versus Texas. I think Malachi Singleton should get the start versus Louisiana Tech. I do. So that way you could see what it looks like with him as a number one starter, and then you could put all your chips in the middle for the battle line rivalry, which I desperately need y'all to win. Because I bet under Missouri's win total, and if they win out, of course, they will go over that 9.5. So I need your help in a major way, Arkansas. It's not really a major bet. I think I bet like $20 on it. Either way. Next thing. Sam Pittman is slated to have hip surgery this offseason. Okay? He said that. And look, whatever the case may be as far as his health is concerned, I wish him nothing but the best. Does this health situation lend itself to him potentially stepping down or getting into something else? I don't know. I really, really, really don't know. What I can tell you, though, is I wouldn't put it past him still coaching next season in pain. Sam really likes his job, and this has never been a mystery. And look, I know Bo Mattingly, I know Chuck Barrett. I've not talked to them in years. That viral clip of them putting Sam in a pretty positive light, I think didn't look the best. But the one thing that they did say that was true is that Sam really likes being at Arkansas, and it is his dream job. So, I think there is a piece of him that wants to keep coaching at Arkansas. And I think there's a piece of him that says, you know what, it would be nice to, go to the Lake Hamilton Lake House and ride out into the sunset, literally and figuratively. So there you go. Next thing. This was brought up, and this is one off-season topic. It is more of an off-season topic, but because Sam addressed this, it just happens to be one of my favorite topics to talk about. This is via wholehogsports.com. Okay. Sam Pittman playing a 9-game SEC schedule would, quote, be ridiculous. This is via Christina Long. The league is expanding the conference schedule from 8 to 9, which could increase the SEC's TV revenue. She says the league is exploring. I was about to say, I misread that. Expanding the conference. So they're thinking about it. All right. A new era of sharing revenue directly with athletes approaches, and schools are looking for ways to increase revenue and decrease spending to prepare for a significant increase in expenses. Okay. Sam Pittman calls it ridiculous, and he says, you know what's going on now? You've got 2 lost teams trying to get in the playoffs. It wasn't broke before. SEC teams have always played for national championships forever in the league. Sam Pittman says 8 is plenty. We don't need 9. Everyone would be limping into postseason play. Okay. This is, out of all topics, okay, this is my favorite topic to discuss, all right, other than Texas and Arkansas. A 9-game conference schedule, if you are just a neutral college football fan, all right, let's say you take your Arkansas fandom out of the equation. A 9-game conference schedule helps you, all right, because you get more good content. You get better games. Nobody cares that Mississippi State plays UMass. Nobody cares when Arkansas plays Louisiana Tech. Now, that game is interesting in a lot of ways because Louisiana Tech's campus is basically an extension of Southern Arkansas in many ways. But besides the point, people don't like those games. But if you are a neutral and you get one extra competitive game per week, especially considering the bottom half of the SEC is played a lot better than what we expected, there's not really been a bad SEC team this year. At least Mississippi State has shown some competitiveness versus Texas and Georgia and so on and so on. Arkansas is good. No one thought Vanderbilt would do what they did. South Carolina is good, and so on and so on. Okay. Now, Kentucky's ass this year, but they beat Ole Miss. So the bottom half has gotten better. So if we know each and every one of those games has become more competitive with the transfer portal and NIL, it would make for an overall better season, right? I will also say, if you're an Arkansas fan and you're only looking at this through an Arkansas lens like Sam Pittman is, you do not want a 9-game conference schedule. You simply do not want it. Because it's just going to be that much harder for you to get to 6 wins. If you play more competitive games, there is an idea that there's going to be more injuries. And you guys get the point. college football, and people get this wrong all the time. In college basketball, whenever we're talking about the NCAA tournament bubble, teams always talk about who they beat, right? Who did you beat? Who are your big wins? How many quad one victories do you have? In college football, it's the opposite. We don't really care who you beat. We don't. Perfect example. Penn State is in the top 5 in the AP poll. But Alabama, who has 2 losses compared to Penn State's 1 loss, has 4 top 25 victories. Penn State has 0. In college basketball, those would be flipped. Alabama would be in the top 5 despite 2 losses. Penn State wouldn't be in the top 5 at all with no marquee victories. College football is about avoiding losing. It's a lot more important to do that than go out and win. It's just how it is, especially at Arkansas, okay, where wins are hard to come by. If you add an extra conference game, that's one less confident victory that you have. When people look at your win-loss record, they just see wins and losses. Not everybody has the time to go see that Arkansas played UAPB to start the season, and they are the 127th out of 129 FCS teams in all of college football. Wins and losses. Most fans don't care about that. Now, I do, which is why I consider what Florida has done this season more impressive than what Missouri's done, because one is playing a diametrically different schedule than Missouri is. So a 9-game conference schedule is something that I welcome. But someone like Tobias Brim would say, look, I don't want a coach that talks like that. I want a coach that welcomes in the competition. I will also tell you, as someone who has done a lot of studying and research on the 8-game versus 9-game conference schedule stuff, Arkansas is not the loudest in the room when it comes to staying at 8. That would be Kentucky. However, Arkansas does not want that, especially with a good basketball and baseball program where fans really want to turn the page as quickly to the sports where they're really good, which obviously is basketball and baseball. So I get Sam not wanting to go to 9, but 9 helps everyone in terms of the content itself. 8, though, is better for everyone in terms of wins and losses. And that's where I stand on it. It just depends. It's a give and take. I prefer 9, kind of like how I prefer a 14 playoff. I don't think either or is bad. But what I can tell you, if you only have 8 conference games, you're going to have a lot of these situations where you have these very intricate tiebreaker rules and you have unbalanced schedules. Once again, if you look at the conference schedule of Missouri and you compare it to that of Florida, they're not the same. They are not the same at all. Now, they have some similar teams, of course, but still. Now, here's what we're going to do. Next 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to answer as many questions as we possibly can. If you super chat, we'll keep the Arkansas live show going all day long. I'll say that. I do have to go call a college basketball game today. I'm very blessed to get to do play-by-play. I will one day call a basketball game in Bud Walton Arena. I know it. I'm speaking it into existence. I'm speaking it into existence. I'm going to rock in my Trey Vero suit. I'm going to be looking so fresh, so clean, so dapper, top to bottom. They're going to think I walked in there so dressed to the nines that I own 10 Fortune 500 companies. They're going to think I'm walking in there like I freaking know every single booster. Like I work at Tyson Chicken. But I'll tell you this. I want this to be as loud and clear as possible. Before the season, I predicted Arkansas to beat either LSU or Texas. This is your chance. Now, I thought Arkansas would pull off a major upset at some point this season because I just thought that they would. Tennessee, of course, is that game. And there's not a lot of Arkansas fans that believe that they can go in there and beat Texas. And you have a reason to feel that way. What I can tell you, though, as someone who watched Texas this weekend and did a full film study on them, you could check it out for yourself. You could see what the Steve Sarkisian offense really looks like. Quinn Ewers is not that good. I know that sounds crazy because he had a historic stat line this weekend. Quinn Ewers is not that good. He misses so many receivers. Now, did he have some drops? You betcha. But dear Lord, Steve Sarkisian, his scheme is so damn good. And I go back and forth between him and Heupel as the best play callers in the SEC, and obviously Lane is in that mix as well. Those three have really separated themselves from everybody else. Okay, when it comes to head coaches' offensive schemes, they are the three best. They are the three best. Sark probably is my favorite. It's either him or Heupel. But as many of you know, I'm a big Lane guy as well. And look, those three could be the best teams in the SEC right now. Now, I also know a lot of Arkansas fans are wondering, how the hell did we get beat so badly by LSU? And the answer to that is that I was there. It was my fault. Arkansas fans blame my LSU ass for showing up. I love Donald W. Reynolds. I love Fayetteville. I would live in Fayetteville right now. I would go to Northwest Arkansas, plant my booty there, bring my wife, bring my dog, and go eat at Hugo's every Friday night. I would go. Bring it on. But it's not happening for right now. Look, I am of the belief that Arkansas will keep this competitive this weekend. I am. Let's go to Chris. He says, you look dapper right now. I do? Even with my jacket having this, I don't know what the heck happened. I love this jacket. I think it looks pretty good. Actually, no, hold on. I don't think it's ripped. I just think it's uneven. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. See, there's something else I wanted to get to. Oh, a potential Jalen Braxton return. I don't know what his redshirt situation is. I know he didn't redshirt last season. Let me see. How many games has he played this year? I should know this. So he's only played one. Yeah, and he didn't redshirt last season. So I would just shut him down and just let him redshirt. I mean, I think that would do right by the kid and the team, honestly. I mean, you could, if he's only played one, no, you could play him the final three. I don't know, though, did he not play the UAPB game? I don't know. I'd have to go look at his PFF. But take that for what it's worth. Now, Can Arkansas, Texas become something? Can it become a rivalry? Well, I'll tell you this. If you are of the belief that you want Arkansas and Texas to be an annual thing, like Sam Pittman would like it to be, then a 9-game conference schedule does help that out. It does. Chris, do you hate Missouri more or do you hate Texas more? You got to let me know that, man. That's valuable information. 64% of you are picking Texas over Arkansas. Very interesting. Let's see here. All right, Chris, thanks for watching the Texas Film Study. Kingsley, there you are. Chicken Little fan base 90% of the time. I don't know, man. I don't know. I do think Steve Sarkisian brought up some funny stuff about Darrell Royal. I also think you would have a better shot at winning this game if it was at night, right? Texas turning into a corn cob back in 2021 when y'all played this game is still seared in my brain. It's crazy. It's crazy. Light says, if Sam beats Texas again, he'll get a contract extension. Yeah, Kingsley, and this is the thing about Arkansas football. You don't suck. Like this year, you literally do not suck. Like you don't. You'll beat Louisiana Tech. You'll be at 6 wins. That'll get you over your win total for this season. So you don't suck. You're probably going to a bowl game. It is what it is. I mean, I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. You will go to a bowl game. That's not good enough. At Arkansas, it is. If you want to try and get up to 8 wins, sure. But can Arkansas ever reasonably go 10-2 and get into the playoff? Yes. Yes. You got to spin, though. All right. How many of these 10, 15, $20 million donors do you have that could fork over $500K for a QB or something like that? Obviously, it would cost more to get a big-time QB out of the portal, but I mean, it's whatever. Now, that'll do it for me. We will have an Arkansas versus Texas preview film study that will drop later in the week, probably on Wednesday, and we'll see you then. Once again, we want to support all our partners. And one final thing before I give my prediction for Arkansas versus Texas, if you are in the Northwest Arkansas region, dental health is wealth, and our friends at Sequoia Dental are looking to help you feel like a more confident person. Dr. William Wilson and his team of experts do everything in their power to make this experience for you not only comfortable, but fun. Yes, take a look at this after and before photo. That guy definitely got himself a date thanks to Sequoia Dental. From teeth whitening to cosmetic surgery to, guess what? Botox. Yes, they do Botox. Call my friend Dr. William Wilson today, or just go book your appointment at sequoiadental.com. Yeah. Arkansas, Texas, the Longhorns 13.5-point favorites. Arkansas sitting at a total of 57.5. You know I'm picking the Hogs to cover, baby. You know it. Texas wins 31-21. Why not? How about that? We'll take a look at a few of the others. LSU 4-point favorites over Florida. College football playoff contenders, in the words of Elijah Drinkowitz. Missouri sitting at 11.5-point dogs. Then Georgia 9-point favorites at home versus Tennessee. A&M 39-point favorites versus New Mexico State. We'll talk to you on Wednesday. AS! Pow, out, SEC. Boom! And tonight we are doing... What are we doing tonight? We're doing some pasta. Let's go. Let's freaking